comes courtesy of our friends over at The View. When I say our friends over at The View, I mean the low IQ idiots who are on panel at The View. And yes, you are a complete stupid idiot. My God, she is so stupid. This is the same lady who thinks everything is racist. Everything and everyone is racist, except Hitler and the Holocaust. Genius, Whoopi Goldberg.
Ben Shapiro is legendary for constantly demolishing what he calls the IQ draining roller coaster of The View. According to him, it's basically a collection of delusional hot takes from women who think their opinions on trending issues are airtight. Spoiler alert, most of them are just poorly fact-checked liberal chatter about whatever's buzzing in mainstream media. But hey, quick favor, if you're enjoying this video, don't just sit there, smash that like button, and hit subscribe. Fun fact, over 99% of you watch without subscribing. Seriously, guys. It takes 2 seconds tops. Your support means the world and helps us share more of these spicy takes with a bigger audience. So here's the million-dollar question. How badly does Ben Shapiro want to be a guest on The View?
Lifelong ambition to actually be a guest on The View. They'll never have me on, of course, because it would go horribly for them. But today,
to Ben Shapiro, one person on The View towers above the rest in the Hall of Fame for questionable takes. And that's none other than Whoopi Goldberg. She's got a knack for unleashing her unfiltered thoughts live on TV, no matter how wild they might be. In today's video, we're diving into some unforgettable moments where Ben Shapiro didn't just clap back. He obliterated Whoopi Goldberg's most jaw-dropping blunders. And let's kick things off with one of the most talked about incidents. Ben Shapiro's fiery reaction to Whoopi's absolutely mind-boggling remarks about the Holocaust. Buckle up, folks. This one's a doozy.
Holocaust isn't about race. No, it's not about race.
Ethnicity.
It's about
a different race.
But it's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man.
no!
Guys, Whoopi Goldberg has reached next level delusion with this one. For someone who manages to make everything about race, she somehow thinks the most genocidal, racially motivated atrocity in history isn't about race. Yeah, let that sink in for a second.
It's not about
ideal race.
But these are two white groups of people.
Ah! Not only is that the worst clip in the history of The View, that is the worst clip in the history of television. Like, all of television history.
You can always count on Ben Shapiro to deliver the most hilarious takedown when faced with this level of absurdity. I mean, for a guy who might secretly pray to guest star on The View someday, don't quote me on that, even he couldn't have predicted this Olympic-level stupidity from Whoopi Goldberg. Brace yourselves. This reaction is pure gold.
Goldberg is obnoxious and stupid beyond all measure. The Holocaust was not about race. Ask the Nazis. The entire Holocaust was about race. All of it. Which is why they didn't just pick on Jews who observed Judaism. They picked on anyone who had quote-unquote Jewish blood. The entire thing was about race.
Shapiro himself is Jewish, so you can bet this hit close to home. But honestly, that's not the only reason he's completely done with Whoopi's nonsense. What really grinds his gears is how she somehow thinks it's okay to downplay one of the darkest, most horrifying events in history. I mean, seriously, who looks at the extermination of over 6 million Jews and goes, hey, just a little case of man's inhumanity to man? It's like calling a hurricane just some aggressive wind.
Man's inhumanity to man. Nope. It is about a genocidal attempt to exterminate the Jews, which has a thousands-of-year-old history. And yes, it was rooted in race.
Ben Shapiro's frustration is practically jumping off the screen, and can you blame him? The Holocaust isn't some obscure footnote that happened in a random corner of the globe. Nope, it's practical world history, people. A monumental event that shaped the modern world as we know it. So for Whoopi to casually downplay it as just man's inhumanity to man isn't just stupid to Shapiro, it's galaxy brain level absurdity.
And yes, you are a complete stupid idiot. My God, she is so stupid. This is the same lady who thinks everything is racist. Everything and everyone is racist, except Hitler and the Holocaust. Genius, Whoopi Goldberg.
Speaking of racism, the other members of The View aren't exactly sitting quietly in the shadows. Nope. They're doing their absolute best to compete for the title of bitter racist extraordinaire. At this point, Whoopi Goldberg might actually have some serious competition for the crown when it comes to dropping the most spectacularly stupid remarks on live TV. Let's break down the highlights. Or should I say lowlights?
Every Latino out of this country, then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?
No.
In the sense that,
In a
you know
sense.
what I mean? Like, when I'm saying
There's more jobs to be
in LA, they always,
but they don't are not only the
no,
only people
I didn't mean
doing
it like that. Come on.
Ben Shapiro wasn't exaggerating when he called The View the human repository of stupidity. If anything, this latest display of premium cluelessness was basically the universe saying, "You're absolutely right, Ben."
I love that she's trying to make an anti-Trump argument. She's like, I can say anything I want. And she's like, I'm going to say something super racist. They're all like, yeah. Well, apparently her hair was not her only bad decision that day.
Ben can't wrap his head around why Whoopi Goldberg is still given a platform to share her hot takes on live TV. Time and again, she proves she has no idea what she's talking about. Case in point, that unforgettable moment when she was asked to explain her comparison of the US and Israel to terrorist groups like Hamas and the Taliban. Spoiler alert, it only gets more cringeworthy from here.
Something comparing the U.S., Israel, Hamas, and the Taliban as all terrorist organizations. And she has maybe way more knowledge and experience in the very complicated Middle Eastern relations. But I did find that being on a foreign committee and comparing the country to a known terror, those are organized terrorist communities, that, not Israel, but Hamas and...
Ben Shapiro's practically on the edge of his seat waiting for Whoopi's next masterpiece of a response. And of course, Whoopi doesn't disappoint. She opens her mouth and reveals exactly how obnoxious she can be.
And that
Depends on who you talk to.
right. Well, I mean, that's how they're recognized as terrorist organizations.
But it does depend on who you talk to.
Well, they're
Because it
recognized
does.
in this country.
Depends on who you talk to. Whoopi, always available to sign in to both compare Israel and the United States to terrorist organizations and also compare terrorist organizations to apparently not terrorist organizations. Like, Hamas is not a terrorist organization?
Let's see what Ben has to say about this one.
Oh, man. It is amazing because Whoopi is sort of seen on this show as sort of the wise old sage. And I have to say, you need better.
The View is practically infamous for producing the most insane views. Seriously, it's like a factory of stupid statements. And the best part? Whoopi keeps cranking out delusions like it's her full-time job. Even other women on the show have moments where they realize how out there some of her takes are, but they bite their tongues, probably terrified of getting called out by the other ladies.
It's interesting that a lot of the English language has to be rethought. Blackmailing is negative, black sheep, negative. I can think of a few others if I had the time, but those words are kind of like embedded in our psyches and maybe need to be changed. Why is a black sheep a bad thing and a white sheep is a good thing? Why? They're just sheep.
Well, it's not the words. It's not the words. It's the way we think about it.
Ben finds it hilarious how Whoopi just sits there, casually spitting out low IQ comments like she's winning a medal for it. And everyone else? They either accept it or pretend to, not joining the daily ritual of insanity. Yeah, that's how you end up getting roasted for having an IQ higher than a 7.
Right. You're right, Joy. Probably they started saying black sheep versus white sheep, not because of the commonality of the sheep, but because of black people in like rural Europe. Nailed it. Yeah, it's about what? African-American sheep. This is so stupid. It's about black male, like black people male in the...
It's downright scary that these women have aired their nonsense online for years and still manage to drop some of the dumbest takes on TV. And when they're not embarrassing themselves with stupidity, oh, they're busy pushing the most divisive narratives and enacting like they're the saints of equality and racial integrity. Apart from Whoopi, though, is Joy Behar, who's right behind her with the dumbest comments on The View.
I don't think that kids in this country are learning our history. They're not learning about slavery. They're not learning about Jim Crow. They don't understand the history of black Americans in this country. If they did, they would then understand white privilege better. So my suggestion is start teaching this stuff. It's deplorable, again, that word, that they do not learn history, period. I mean, people who are young, under 50, don't know who FDR was.
And here's Ben's thoughts on that one.
What is she talking about? We all learned in school about slavery and Jim Crow and FDR. Honestly, it's the people who are teaching DEI crap in public schools who actually don't care whether the kids know who FDR is. Those kids don't know the first thing about history, but they know that people are victimized.
It's like these women can't be bothered to even Google basic facts. Why is this okay? Anything that sounds like it's supporting racial minorities is automatically fine, even if it's blatantly racist. But apparently, that's just too complicated for some of these folks. Take Joy Behar's latest disaster, for example.
She said, I grew up in a world where a woman who looks like me with my kind of skin and my kind of hair was never considered beautiful. So, do her words resonate with you at all?
Because you're a black person? That's that.
Joy Behar is so desperate to defend black people that she can't even realize how racist she's becoming with her over-the-top views.
First, I mean, honestly, that quote is also rather silly. I mean, it looks like this happened maybe 2 years ago, and this woman appears to be like 20. I love that Joy Behar's like, speak for the black people, black lady. Woo, there's so much racism among the white liberals at The View. It's really fun.
No wonder she's constantly roasted online. If she keeps this up, she'll easily surpass Whoopi as the queen of crazy remarks on The View. But for now, let's dive into more of Ben's reaction to Whoopi's classic brand of stupidity. Case in point, the moment she decided to berate men for having an opinion on fetuses.
Do any of you men have any eggs or the possibility of carrying a fetus? How dare you talk about what a fetus wants? You have no idea. I'm fine if you disagree with abortion. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, you do.
My problem comes when you tell me what I need to do with my doctor and my family. How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you?
Ben's reaction to this is absolute gold, especially when he points out that, by today's woke standards, Whoopi's probably a transphobe and an ageist, given the liberal party she aligns with.
So I have a few questions many questions on this, as it turns out. First,
transphobia.
Massive transphobia. If you don't have eggs, you can't. Are you saying that some women can't be men and some men can't be women? Are you saying that unless you have eggs, you're not a woman? Is that what you're saying, Whoopi Goldberg? Also, if that is the new standard, how about women who are postmenopausal? Whoopi Goldberg? Can they have opinions on? I mean, you can't have a baby right now, I assume. How old is Whoopi Goldberg? She's in her 60s.
The sheer stupidity coming from this wise old geezer is enough to give you a headache. Seriously, isn't Whoopi supposed to be the elder stateswoman of The View? How is she the one making the most clueless, ill-informed comments? And let's be real, everyone has a say on what happens to a fetus. Why? Because we were all once one.
Also, I noticed another thing. I can have an opinion on what a fetus would think because I was once a fetus. In fact, spoiler alert, all of us were once fetus. Every single one of us. I know, this is crazy. And you know what I can pretty well guarantee? Fetuses don't like being stabbed in the face and sucked into a sink.
Shapiro doesn't hold back when it comes to tearing down The View. And honestly, who can blame him? There's an ocean of material to work with here. And not everyone can resist having a little fun with the classic stupidity that's served up daily. If Ben ever did get on The View, it would be a disaster for the liberals. He'd absolutely destroy them. And as much as he wants that to happen, trust me, a lot of viewers are dying to see it too. That's all for today, folks. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. What was the most insane moment for you? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more heated content. I'll catch you in the next one.